Hello and welcome to episode 9 of Hybrid Fitness Report. My name's Paul Reynolds and I'm with Jude Reynolds for the pod. We just had a couple of technical issues around the introduction, so I'm doing this bit on my own. This week we are looking at ATHX, the sport of ATHX, giving you an introduction to that, a sport that's growing quickly in the UK especially and across Europe. We've got a lot of chat about Hyrox Hamburg, the first major of the year, with some not only just some interesting results, but some interesting developments in how the new season is going there. And we have part 2 of our League of Hybrid Fitness Sports. After we tried to create a baseline with cricket last week, only to find out that it scored pretty well, we've made a better attempt this time, I think, at providing us with a decent baseline. So I hope you enjoy the pod.
My name is Jude Reynolds.
And today we're going to be having a chat about the Hyrox event in Hamburg, which is the first of the majors for this season. As well as doing the next in our series on introducing you to a different hybrid sport every week. This week we're looking at ATHX. So first of all, Jude, a couple of Hyrox events this weekend, one in Toronto, which is a normal Hyrox, and then Hamburg has had the normal Hyrox plus it's been a Hyrox Major. First of all, very briefly, what is a major as distinct from any other kind of Hyrox?
So you qualify for a major through your two best times in the past 12 months. If you are in the top 15 in the world in those past 12 months with your 2 fast average times, you then qualify for a major. There are 4 majors a year, which again only 15 are qualified for. If you get top 3 in those majors, you then qualify for the World Championships, minus anyone who's already qualified. So if there are 4 majors and there's 3 qualifications through every major, that's 12, and then there are 3 regionals, which the winner. Just remember there is a distinction between the World Championships I'm talking about here and age group World Championships. Right, the Elite 15 World Championships are the 15 best in the world, whereas age groups are, I think, the top 0.1% it was last season in each age category. So age group, Elite 15.
Right, so ultimately you have the world champion of Hyrox in the male, the female, the doubles and so on. And then you have age group world champions. And they're pointing out that so you can qualify directly for the World Championship age group races from a normal Hyrox, but the only way to qualify for the Elite 15, which is the World Championships, is via the major. And that's kind of what's exciting about this last race in Hamburg, or it's several races in Hamburg, is that we were seeing most of kind of the top 20 in the world were in those two those Elite 15 races. What really stood out for you, Jude? I mean, obviously there's a big headline from what happened in Hamburg. But what really stood out to you from the races this weekend?
The severity of the judging and seeing the new penalty rules come into practice. There were a few penalties on the burpees with video footage that showed where they got the penalty, and yet the majority of people who looked at that footage was still questioning after seeing it in slow motion where it came from. Some of it was due to hand placement too far in front of the feet, which again people are disagreeing with. But other than the severity of the judging, it was seeing those penalties take place after the wall balls. So we saw on the live stream, the athletes finish their 100th wall ball and then them just have to stand there for anywhere from 15 to 60 seconds. I saw people get penalties for, which is just, I mean, in the women's race, the woman who was ahead of Lauren Weeks at the time just stood there in her penalty box crying. I mean, it was really, really tough to see. And then also namely in the doubles, we saw Charlie looking visibly upset, having to wait there for his penalty. Almost half of the men's field in the doubles got penalties, and the singles, I mean, stuff online about is it a race or whoever gets the least penalties wins. Obviously it's not exactly like that, but it was just
and just to be clear, the whole penalty box thing is just for the Elite 15. For all the age groups, you just get time added on at the end, so you can cross ahead of someone and get bumped down behind them after the effect. And I don't know whether the penalty box thing will stick, but I heard a variety of ideas as to how to do penalties, and I didn't hear a better one than this.
Yeah,
I mean, it sucks, but I don't know that there's a better one. And I think it's crucial that, unlike the way football's going at the moment with VAR, in terms of something happens and it may or may not be reality because it's going to get checked and you have to sit there waiting. I do like the fact that whoever crosses the line first has won, and that's it. That's all there is to it.
It
So
feels
that's
like
good.
it feels like the best of the worst bunch, really. Whatever the saying is for that.
Right.
It feels
Right.
I don't really know.
Yeah.
It's tough when the new penalty strategies are being implemented just when the new severity of judging is also being implemented. So I think it's trying to find the balance between not making it a penalty game, but also keeping the race as fair and as entertaining as possible.
Another minor plot line I thought from the Elite 15 race was, on the one hand, I really like the fact that the farmer's carry is no longer up and down a line, but it's kind of in a mini inside track. That was great from a spectator standpoint. I think they've nailed that. The problem with it is it's a bit like F1, the Monaco Grand Prix. There's no overtaking.
Yeah.
Especially in doubles, you've got no chance.
Yeah, we did.
Unless you're going to bump someone off.
Yeah, we didn't see much.
Literally or metaphorically.
Yeah, we heard a lot of talk about it being theoretically difficult to pass, but weirdly on the singles nor in the doubles in either gender I saw any issues arise from the narrowness of the track. So I mean, maybe they expand it just in case for the next major, but as far as we saw in that race there was no issues with it. But yeah, the farmer's carry track did look quite narrow.
There was just one bit when I think Jake Williamson was just ahead of, I can't remember whether he was ahead of Charlie or Ollie at the time, and it looked to me like that Charlie and Ollie had caught up, but they weren't even going to try and get round him because they were only marginally quicker, and I didn't think they judged it worthwhile making an attempt. But yeah, I don't know that makes too much sense if there's just no way of going your own pace without intruding on the runner's track, which I assume is going to be another penalty if you set foot on runner's track. So you can't really do anything there. So those are kind of some of the sideline kind of almost logistical things going on. But of course, arguably the biggest story was the men's pro event where we had a new world record.
Yeah, Alexander Ronkovic took it in 53.15, beating it by around 10 seconds. I think it was 22, so I think it was 7 seconds. But
I think that's right.
I think that
Beating
was
Hunter.
I was listening to a podcast the other day that said it was the longest standing Hyrox record, or one of, if not the longest standing Hyrox record, which is really cool to see it being beat. A lot of quick times all weekend. I think that was also the quickest average recorded race, Elite 15 race ever. So that's also really cool.
Right.
Also, in other news with it, Linda Meyer's mother set out an age group world record, which is just, I mean, genetics.
So Linda Meyer being the women's world champion.
Yeah, so her mum set an age group world record of 117.
That's outrageous.
I think she was in the 60 to 64, something crazy like that. And then Dylan Scott.
117.
Yeah. And then Dylan Scott came second for the men in 53.38, and on the women's side, Joanna Wettrick won it in 58.21. So she was actually my favorite to win it. I predicted her first and Lauren second. So quite pleased to see that happen. But Lauren's an amazing athlete, so to see someone so young like Joanna dominate a race like that was really, really cool. Alongside
Dylan had himself a weekend overall, right? Because him and Rich Ryan in the doubles today, not the Elite 15 doubles, because they hadn't done a doubles track record to qualify for the major. So that's the slightly odd thing with this, is you've got some of the Elite 15 singles guys who are new teams in the doubles, who therefore weren't in the Elite 15 doubles. So you had the Elite 15 doubles yesterday, and then today you had the quote-unquote normal men's pro doubles that happen to have, two of the best 15 guys in the world teaming up. I think, is it their first time they've teamed up?
Yeah, because Rich Ryan qualified with Pelayo for the Elite 15 doubles, but Pelayo's injured, so he couldn't race. So Rich just wanted to find someone who would work well with him to race doubles with, to try and get a time for.
And boy, did they!
And they definitely did it. They got the second quickest time ever of 48.53 with a 25:01 run time, which according to RoxFit is a 3:07 per kilometer pace. Now looking at the Rock Zone time, it was almost 4 minutes. So I'm thinking the runs were short and the Rock Zone was a little bit longer, meaning it was probably around like a 3:15 to 3:20 is my assumption, unless they did run a 3:07. But I highly
would that be their
doubt
normal pace? Both of them, 3:15 in the singles, 3:20.
No, 3:15 to 3:20 was their doubles pace. They wouldn't run that in singles.
Yeah, I'm saying, what would they do in singles?
No, they'd run around
3:30.
Yeah, 3:30ish.
Okay. Okay. And just going back briefly to the whole penalties issue, I don't like the fact that it seemed to clog up the storyline and the narrative that there were so many penalties going. So I thought that was unfortunate, but I think it was inevitable, partly because of what you said, that they're changing the way to do the penalties and they're getting more strict. So people getting caught out left, right, and centre. One of the notable features, I thought, of both the pro singles and doubles is when you're watching the wall balls, and now at last, again, one of the great things about the new live coverage that they have for these Hyrox events is that you can see the wall ball count live. Whereas last year, every time you watch on YouTube, you're going, well, that's where they were 2 minutes ago. I don't care where they were 2 minutes ago. It's only going to take them 3.5 minutes, so that's no use to me. So it was great seeing the count. Then you also got to see the amount of no reps. And with them being uber strict now, with, does the hip crease past the knee on the way down, you'd see people cranking out 20 absolutely fine, and then suddenly there'd be like 3, 4, 5 no reps in a row. And then another interesting side note on the penalties is that Joanna Whittrick was mentioned as using her own chalk, which theoretically, technically is a penalty, but it's only... So Joanna Whittrick, who won the women's event, had her own chalk, which should have been a penalty. It probably didn't give her any actual advantage. She just forgot she wasn't supposed to do it. It's not like you could hide the fact that you brought your own chalk. And I just really like the fact that they didn't go, actually, disqualified, or you get a minute penalty for no advantage. So that was cool. But she won't be bringing her own chalk again, methinks. Any other notes from Hamburg or Toronto?
So the other event that happened over the weekend was Toronto, where, just in relation to us, my age group winner in the pro was Cole Walkington at 102.11. It's not a particularly quick time because I know he's a really, really solid athlete. And for him, I reckon he could get a little bit quicker than that. So it wasn't something groundbreaking. But on your side of things, in the open division, we had Sean Laughlin win it in 1:11:30 in the 50 to 54 open division. So what do you think your chances are of touching that one?
He's only 26 minutes ahead of me. I got to think that's within reach.
And that's without your amazing training block that you've been...
Well, it reminds me, when I was marathon running, I think it was about 8 or 9 years ago. I mean, my best marathon time is just over 3 hours 59. And for my age group at the time, the Boston qualifying time was about 3 hours, 12 minutes. So, 3/4 of an hour quicker than mine. There's this fantastic thing online that gives you the odds of qualifying for Boston, given your PB up to that point. So I put in my 3 hours, 59 minutes, 16 seconds. What are my chances? And it refused to give me a result.
It just sounds like a recipe for just... feelings getting absolutely annihilated. It sounds like an awful idea.
I think it's fantastic.
I can categorically tell you you're never going to make it. Why are you even using this website?
Yeah, that was the between the lines bit. Oh, it was great.
That's horrible.
It'd be useful for you. It'd be useful for you because you would actually get a meaningful percentage. I was just hoping it would say 0.0001 or something, or go to the 6th significant decimal point, but it didn't. It just refused to answer the question, which is exceptionally rude. So that's that then for the weekend's Hyrox events, which takes us on to a week in workouts, which for me is continuing to follow the pattern I've been on in recent weeks of 2 to 3 strength training sessions every week and just ramping up the running mileage. Particularly happy with today's run. Again, my long run in inverted commas still, because it's from my history,
careful, because
I
reckon you'll genuinely offend people if you keep calling your 10 milers inverted commas. Because still,
I'm not up to 10 yet.
Well, you did a 10 miler the other week and still put it in inverted commas. So I'm saying people in your age group, that is still a very long run. So.
Well, I apologise for offending people in my age group who don't run more than 3, which is completely rational behaviour.
I'm here for you guys.
It's just that. You're just so not. It's just that I still remember marathon training blocks where, once you get over 15, 16, 17, 18 miles, and then you look at your program, and the next week was a 13-mile run, you think, that's fantastic. It's an off week. So when I'm going out there doing my long run, and like today, it's 77 minutes I had on my thing, and I'm like, it's pushing the boundary of what I'm used to over the last 6 years. So I was just happy that I felt like I had energy at the end of it. I felt pretty rough last week, but for this one, and it helped starting. What time did I start? I started at about 20 to 6,
Yeah,
so
that's
before
good.
sun up, before it started getting hot down here. So I felt good about that. What's been the highlight of your? Well, today's been the highlight of your weekend workouts, hasn't it? You did a full Hyrox sim.
Yeah, last night I was looking through my program. I'm currently with the hybrid engine as of somewhat recently, and I was looking at the program last night for this week, and I saw that starting on Sunday I had a full sim out of nowhere, and I hadn't looked ahead, and I was like, oh, I just swapped my days around to do a massive threshold session yesterday. So, yesterday was a 5-minute run, 3-minute ski, 2-minute run with a 2-minute rest for 4 rounds. So it was 40 minutes of threshold work in one session, and then I did a couple of strength workouts afterwards, and then went home last night, looked at my schedule, and I was like, oh.
So suffice to say, you didn't taper for your sim then?
No, but I mean,
not for more than about 6 hours.
No. But I did sleep for 11 and a half hours after yesterday before this run, and I fueled really well before the sim, during the sim, and after the sim, actually.
You fueled well, or you ate loads?
I didn't eat loads. That's what I'm saying. For me, it's fueling well. It's not fueling a lot. So I had, before my sim, I had 3 plain Scotch pancakes, like the cheap ones from Sainsbury's, the really small ones. I had 1 of the Belvita chocolate chip oat bars, and I had 3 scoops of pre-workout, and that was pretty perfect. Like, I didn't feel hungry, I didn't feel full, I felt still really, really light. And then intra-workout, I had a X Endurance gel, shout out X Endurance, and I had 8 interspersed Sour Patch gummies, which I was like, listen, I think these athletes are taking candy mid-race just to, like, say they had candy mid-race, but I don't know if it's placebo, but it really helped, I think. I mean, I've never had candy during a workout before, but I tried it mid-race just as, like, because it's a sim, trying things, see if they work on the day, and it really worked, so I'm a fan.
Right. Which takes us on to workout of the week for last week, which is a 500-meter ski erg. How did you get on with that?
All right, I did it at the end of a reasonable workout this time, so I wasn't gassed for it. I had like a 10-minute break after I did a bunch of strength stuff, did a run, 10-minute rest, and then into skier. Got 123, so really good result. I'm happy with that. Sorry, 124. Sorry, lying. 124.1.
You were looking for 120 to 125. You said last week.
Yeah, 124.1. I believe I got. Paced it, not great. I went off a bit too slow, I think. So I think there is room for improvement there. But yeah, 124.1. So decently happy. Not really something I was looking to break any records with. But yeah, how about you? Did you do it at the end of a reasonable workout this time?
I don't know what a reasonable workout is, because the thing is, I don't want to do a leg workout or a run and then not have warmed up my arms. So I do, as you know, I do a lot of flexibility and mobility work for my workouts, and I don't want to be doing a second set of mobility because the workout of the week is completely different to everything else. So I'm trying to put it at the end of, for better or worse, I'm putting it at the end of similar workouts. So I did mine at the end of my kind of upper body strength day.
That's not bad.
Which is not bad, because obviously there's a lot of hamstrings in the skio, but my upper arms were shot before I started. And I had the brilliant strategy of doing what you do, which works when you are what you are, which is to go off like an absolute lunatic for 5 seconds and then chill out and then see what you've got left for the last 30 seconds, which is, you know, roughly what you and people like you, whatever exactly that means, seem to do. So, you know, it's and the same thing you do on the rower. Just to like short, quick strokes, right?
Yeah, just to clarify, on C2 machines, there's a fan inside the mechanism, and the quicker you get that up to your race pace, the better it is, essentially, because if you slowly warm up onto your pace, you're just going to take longer, whereas that fan needs to speed up as quickly as it can. And so to do that, you have to work over pace and then slow down so that the fan can get up to speed as quickly as possible, because the slower the fan is, the harder it is to row or ski. But then if you get the fan moving, then it becomes easier and you can get into a rhythm.
So that's a quick tip that we'll probably come back to another time as well about using the ergs. So I went off really quickly, about 5 seconds. Now, this isn't great for people on the audio, but what muscle is there? So like the back of my, just under the back of my shoulder, is that the head of the triceps? It hurts even when I'm pushing it down.
Well, I can't see exactly, but that's your rear delt area / top of the tricep.
Top of that, I think it's the insertion point of the tricep, because I got about 5 seconds in and thought, oh, I felt that. Tried to hold at a somewhat overly aggressive pace for the first minute. And by the end of the first minute, I found that I felt another strong tweak in given that it just hurt when I pressed it down. That's definitely the tricep.
Yeah, it looks like your tricep now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very uncomfortable. But I got really super nervous. Anything around there after what happened to my pec, I get super nervous. I get super nervous at any kind of pain, because I think because of what happened last year, if stuff starts to like be painful, I just have flashbacks to stuff exploding, and I just back off a bit. So I probably had a few more seconds if I ignored it, but I'm quite happy with the fact that I didn't ignore it. So I did a 152.5. So last week's conversation about what time I should do, you told me to do a certain time. I tried to negotiate you up to 2:10 because I'm so crap at it. And you ended up letting me get away with sub 2. But what's slightly irritating to me is that your original point was you thought I should do between 150 and 155, and in the event I did 152.5.
Yeah.
So I just find that aggravating.
Why?
Because you were you were basically precisely correct. Even though you were general, your generality was precisely correct.
It usually is.
Which is just annoying.
Yeah.
That's even more annoying. So I'm just going to have to... I'm either going to injure myself beating what you tell, or I'm just going to deliberately sandbag it to fall short of what you say I should do next time, because I can't be having that. So, on which subject? What's this coming week's wow? What have you got for us? I'm guessing nothing.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you've got nothing for us at all.
Dang it.
It's an off week.
Dang it.
No wow this week.
No.
Massage gun.
It's giving you a pause
to
for being
massage
able to,
gun for the longest.
Giving you a pause to be able to cut it where I knew I wouldn't have anything.
I need to go. I'm going to get the massage gun so I can do some work on my triceps while you work out what the wow is.
Ah, okay.
Okay, so you have a wow for us, do you?
Yes.
Okay, so hold on a sec. I'm just going to do a little bit of work.
Audio listeners, I'm so sorry. That's... what?
Just a little bit of a massage gun on my tricep.
Even in the video, it doesn't look right. You've not got the full image in the picture. So it's just something touching you. Oh.
There we go.
There we
go. Bit of hyper... Ow. Bit of hyper ice on there. Just to...
No, we're not sponsored. They don't get a shout out. No.
Nameless brand.
Yeah.
Currently massaging my tricep. There you go. That's much better. Okay. So back to the whale. What's the whale, dude? Oh, but stop now. Stop.
There's definitely a freeze frame in there somewhere.
Okay. So back to it. What have we got?
So it's an EMOM, meaning every minute on the minute, and it's 12 wall balls, 3 kg above race weight for 12 rounds.
Again. So I'll ignore it again. So just tell us what that means for normal people and for pro category.
So if
without us having to work it out.
If you're doing the male division in the race, you'd use a 6 kg wall ball, and so for this workout you'd be using a 9. If you do the pro division, you'd be using a 9. In the race, you're using a 12. If you're doing the female open division, you'd be using a 4, so you're using a 7. And you have to do 12 reps of that, 12 reps of the wall ball every minute for 12 minutes, which is 144 wall balls.
144 wall balls in 12 minutes. Yeah, that's not.
But you get a rest at the end of every 12, so it's not that bad.
I'm not getting any rest by the end of the third set. I'm going to be segueing straight from my 11th wall ball of the previous set onto the next one, then I'm just going to collapse.
It's easily scalable, though, because if you're not comfortable doing 3 kg above race weight, you just do race weight.
I'm going to do just race weight because I'm going to be... I've never done more than 100 wall balls. I've never done more than 100 wall balls. The most wall balls
You've also never done 3 kg above race weight. So
well, there you go. Then
you don't know
I've
if you're
got no
uncomfortable
chance.
with it.
I've got no chance, have I?
You wouldn't know
My
because apparently
days.
14 pounds is 9 kg.
Well, it's 14 pounds is 9 miles.
Unbelievable. Okay. On
Okay.
a real level though, it is fine if you use race weight as long as you do it.
Okay. Before we go into our main feature, which is an introduction to the sport of ATHX, I'm going to give a shout out to our sponsor, WoDLETE. So this week's podcast is sponsored by WoDLETE Functional Fitness Clothing Company. WoDLETE is more than apparel. It's a mindset, a community, and a call to action. Whether you're just starting out or pushing towards elite performance, WoDLETE exists to support and inspire your journey. They believe in consistency over perfection, growth over ego, and the long game over quick wins. Head to wodlete.co.uk. That's WoDLETE.co.uk and check out their autumn-winter range with free delivery on all orders over £50. Use code HFRPOD20, that's HFRPOD20 at checkout for 20% off your order. And given that they're all great value to begin with, 20% and free delivery is fantastic. Okay.
So for our main section, it's now going to be a review of ATHX, which seems to be quite popular in the UK especially. And what does that exactly entail for next year?
Yeah, what does it entail for next year is the right way to put the question, because one of the main features of ATHX is they change it up every year. So that the overall structure is that you have 3 different blocks. There's a strength block, an endurance block, and a metcon block. So rather than it being a race, it's an accumulation of points or distance for what you do in a given time. The 2026 program is not entirely unlike this year, but it's split into 3 periods with a 10-minute break in between. So again, it's not, they're kind of de-emphasizing endurance a little bit to try and give people a chance to perform kind of more impressively at the individual aspects. So the strength element next year is going to be a 1 rep max strict press, a 3 rep max back squat, and a 5 rep max deadlift. And you get 6-minute blocks in each of those to work up to in your pairs. What are your bests in each of those? So I think the 2025 program had slightly higher rep numbers.
I think
these are leaning even more into the pure strength element.
Yeah, I work at obviously a gym called Strive that I've mentioned a few times. My boss there, Sean, he's doing it with one of the members from the gym, Nick, and they have a 10 rep max overhead press. I think it is. So yeah, like you said, a bit of higher reps this year than it will be next year.
And then after the strength element, you get a 10-minute break, and then there's an endurance element. And again, there are 3 different categories of ATHX. There's the light category, the standard ATHX category, and the pro category. And in the standard ATHX category, the endurance element is a split between row and run. So one of the partners will run, and once they've done 750 meters for the normal ATHX category, the other guy is rowing that entire time. But as soon as the runner finishes that distance, they swap.
Right.
So it's really a series of 750 meter runs, and the non-running partner just rows until the runner's finished.
Right.
So if you enter the light category, it's a series of 500 meter runs. ATHX, the standard category, is a 700 meter run, and then the pro category is a kilometer run. So after that endurance element, and then you then add up the total distance covered, and that goes into your score. You then have another 10-minute, or the final 10-minute break, and then you have what's called metcon, which is the more Hyroxy looking bit, which is 60 calories on the ski erg, followed by 60 ground to overhead with weights. And all these weights vary, so I won't go into the various different weights, but ground to overhead, 60 meters sandbag carry, 60 box jump overs, which sounds horrendous, 60 meters dumbbell walking lunges, 60 meters burpee broad jumps, and closing out the way it began with the 60 calories on the ski erg. And the metcon section has a 25-minute cap. And your score is how long did it take you to complete those elements.
I like that.
So it's incredibly varied. I mean, I guess at one end of the spectrum, you've got a 1 rep max strict press, and at the other end of the spectrum, you could argue, I guess, would be the ski erg, right?
Yeah, that's really, really fun. I just really want to see if we can get tickets to that. That would be awesome.
We have to go
That's
to one
so
of those.
cool. I think this year, just backtracking a little bit to the endurance section, I think it's a 12-minute run, 12-minute bike. So a lot less changeover this year. I think one partner is running for 12 minutes, one partner is biking for 12 minutes, and you swap, and that is it. So this year with the transitions, I think that's a lot more interesting. Next year with the transitions, I think that's a lot more interesting than this year. And the Metcon section as well. I know this year it involves a lot of heavy thrusters and burpees. So I think, again, another way in which I will much prefer next year. So yeah, I think that should definitely be on our to-do list, because I feel for Sean and Nick in this one, because I wouldn't enjoy this one nearly as much.
And their ATHX are expanding very rapidly. So they haven't announced all the dates yet, but this year they had, I think it's about 4 or 6 events that they're having this year. Next year they're looking at nearer 20. The first UK event is the end of January, beginning of Feb, and they promised there will be more UK events during the year. They just haven't released those dates yet. So, like you, I think
we should definitely either pair up and then maybe get Zaid to bring someone, and like me and you versus Zaid and his friend. That would be so cool.
That would be very cool.
Yeah.
That would be very cool. The only downside with that is once you're done with your 1 rep max strip press, it's going to take us a while getting all the plates off for me to do my 1 rep max.
I've lost a lot.
Sure,
I don't know.
In theory.
I don't know.
Yeah, you haven't lost that much. Okay, so any other comment about ATHX? I mean, that was the kind of the highlight section, but relatively brief, mainly because you're one of the few things you haven't done yet.
Yeah, that's actually made me super excited for next year. I hadn't even thought about it as a possibility, but genuinely listening to that now, I'm like, yeah, I'm so down for that next year.
It does seem to me like I do miss elements of CrossFit training, and so some of that definitely appeals. Albeit my strength numbers will be way down, just because I find 1, 3, and 5 rep maxes at my age slightly.
We're not looking to win anything, so there's not really any pressure on that element of it either.
No, but when you're looking at me funny while I'm, popping a squat under 3 pounds, whatever it is, I'll definitely be self-conscious about it. So next section, as we get to the end, we'll get towards the end, is our league table of hybrid fitness sports. Last week we did cricket, and my theory with cricket originally was that I thought this would give us a baseline, except cricket ended up scoring 572 out of 1,000, which isn't much of a baseline. So I figured in the name of a proper baseline, and with you having mentioned it, we'd do darts, which shouldn't take us too long because it won't feature too much, and then slightly more seriously, anticipating it being higher than cricket, though we'll see, we'll go for football. So if you want to remind yourself about the 10 aspects of fitness and the definitions, I'm afraid you'll have to look those up or go back to our previous episodes. So I'll just give the headline categories, and then Jude, if you could give us what you think the scores should be for darts and football, and then if I decide that I want to argue, then I'll let you know. And then I'll try and add up as we go along. So cardiovascular endurance, I'm guessing we're going to give darts a 0 on that one.
I'm going to give it a 1 because you have to stand up.
Give it a 1. You have to
There's our baseline.
So it gets a higher score. So it's more of a hybrid fitness sport than Monopoly. Okay. So darts gets a 1% on that one. And football gets what?
Football gets on the spot, 80.
80.
But also, you see, now it depends on the position. If we're talking about
midfield,
we'll go central midfield for all of this, just for sake of picking the best element of football that would relate to this sort of category. I'd go with 80.
Really, that low? I mean, bearing in mind it involves running around constantly, why do you give it such a low number? Because you're doing about a 10k, right?
Yeah, because
in game of football,
if you're talking about cardiovascular endurance, and we're talking about out of 100 would probably be 100k ultra marathon running, or it would be an Ironman.
Right.
So.
Right. Okay. So I guess that begs the question as to what are we going to give darts on stamina? Would that be another 1 because you're still standing up?
No, that's a 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. A 2 for standing up.
2 for variability.
On stamina.
Yeah.
And on football, what do we give?
Similar. I'll give that 75.
75, not as high as I thought. Okay. Strength. The maximum force muscles can exert. Presumably, neither's going to score great. Obviously, darts is our baseline here. But so, what darts you giving them 3 or 2.5 or what?
1.5.
1.5.
Yeah.
Still quite generous. And football.
I'm going to give it a...
I guess your right quad needs a bit if you're right-footed, but other than that...
I mean, you look at some of them and, you know, you have people that look like they're on something, like Traore, and then you have people that look like they just came out of the womb, like Yamal.
They're off everything.
Who pretty much did. So, I'm going to give it a 20.
25. Okay. Oh, 25. Oh, that changes everything. Okay, and flexibility.
Darts.
That darts motion. Very flexible elbows and fingers, man.
I'm sure they all do their mobility, so I'll give it a 2.
2? Well, that is harsh. I'm going to overrule you and give them a 2.5.
Okay.
Flexibility for a footballer. Diving. Creatively. Take some flexibility.
Would we then, if we're trying to be optimal for football, take a goalkeeper where you'd need more than a central midfielder, arguably, or we're sticking with central midfielder?
No, we're sticking with central midfielder because if we're not going to, we're giving an 80 on 75 on stamina, and a goalkeeper would be getting like a high dart score on that.
Okay, I'll give it 65.
65 for flexibility and power.
I would give it a 50.
And darts?
A 1.
A 1. So the halfway mark, football has 180, 395, and darts has 4, 5, 6, and 8. So,
sorry, Luke Littler, it's not happening.
So okay, but this is where Luke Littler makes you eat your words. Okay. Coordination.
Okay.
What are we giving Luke Littler for his coordination out of 100?
Still a 40.
40. Well, you just multiplied their total score by 500%.
Yeah, that's true.
I think Luke Nuke will express his gratitude online for that. And football coordination?
65, 70.
60. Oh, 70. Okay, and agility, darts.
1.
Wow. Football?
85.
85. And balance. Standing up is hard work with your arms extended. Come on.
That's true. Away from the midline of the body, 1.5.
Exactly. Serious core engagement when you're leaning forward like that, and you're only giving it 1.5. Again, I'm overruling that one because you know what we're talking about. I'm giving them a 2.
Harsh. What was it again? Balance.
Balance, yeah. All that standing on one leg, kicking it.
60.
60. You didn't look impressed with football's attributes on that one.
Just balancing which way to go on that one, so I'll give it 60.
So just pause for the pun, pause for the applause. No? Okay, no applause.
Oh. It's like the Karen joke. These clips are going to make me look really slow.
You made this one.
Bear in mind, when we record these, it's 10:10 for me. It's like 2 for you, 4.
It's 4:10. Yeah, well, you know. I didn't make the joke. You made the joke. I assumed it was deliberate. I waited for you to say something. You just looked at me.
Don't have the capacity for this.
Okay. Speaking of... No, we've done the capacity bit. Speed. Speed in darts.
5.
5?
Rapid elbow extension.
Flippin' heck.
Yeah.
That is overly generous. And football? Central midfielder?
80. But then Busquets was
central midfield.
Yeah, Busquets was one of the best midfielders ever, and he was probably about a 50. So I'll give it 55.
Oh, blimey. Wow.
60,
Steady on.
60. Final answer.
80 down to 55 in the blink of a
60.
wasp's eyelash. Okay, last category is reaction time. Please let me give darts a 0 on this one.
No, you can't give
You're not
0
reacting to anything.
because being asleep is 0.
Why not? Is it?
Well, a sport. Okay.
Half.
No, chess is an actual sport. Chess is 0.
Chess is a game, not a sport.
Oh. What's the static sport? Like completely static?
I don't know.
Curling?
Is there such a thing?
No.
Can you call it a sport if it's static? That's a question for another week.
Yeah.
Dart,
Go on then.
Dart's reaction time score is 0.
You can't.
Okay. No, 0.5.
Okay.
There we go, 0.5. Because 100 points isn't a granular enough range. I'm going to have to give it half, which means that out of a potential score of 1,000, and thanks to their 40 points on the coordination front, darts gets 56.5. So we finally found a proper baseline after cricket blew us away with 572 last week. Reaction time in football, what are you giving them for that?
75.
75, and that takes football to a new Apex League of Hybrid Sports leader on the day at 740 points, which I think is going to be hard for anyone to beat. So darts 56.5. In third place, cricket in second with 572, and football, your new leader.
What did I give football for strength? 20.
You gave football 25.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So football 740, the new leader. Okay, so that just leaves us with the quote of the week, which I've been looking forward to.
Can I say it and you give your opinion? Because I never know what to say.
But you don't know the quote that I've got.
I know. That's why I'm just like, okay.
You don't like giving on the spot reactions to dodgy quotes.
No.
Is that what you're saying? So you want me to read out the quote and react to it, and then you just can tell me whether I'm talking nonsense
Well, how
or
about
not?
you read it and then I ask you what you think of it, and then that's my contribution.
Okay. Am I editing this bit out, or am I leaving all this in?
It depends what you can be asked to do.
It depends how much you pause before you answer me. Okay, so today's quote of the week, or this week's quote of the week today, is from the one and only hybrid fitness legend himself, Mr. Michael Jordan, of baseball fame, who also played a little bit of basketball. He said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed."
What do you think about this quote?
I really like it, but like a couple of your responses, is I need to interpret a certain way before I can like it. So I like it because it takes away the idea that success looks like always succeeding, that accomplishing your goals looks like always succeeding. Whereas what he's really saying is that it would not have been possible for him to succeed without having failed on almost numerous occasions first. Because it was through his failures in pressure situations, for example. So when when his shooting arm tightens up during that attempted game-winning shot that he missed a bunch of times, with the experience of doing that, he would have learned how to control his emotions and his breathing and his posture and everything else. And
yeah, I think you need to experience a decent amount of failure before you can truly succeed at especially his level. So definitely.
And thanks to our various technical challenges, that's where the pod finished. So thank you for hanging in with us there. Apologies for the late delivery. Next week, we're looking at Hyrox singles and doubles. What are the differences? Which ones might suit different people at different stages, and how you can get into that. So thanks again for tuning in. A reminder about our sponsor, WoDLETE, WoDLETE.co.uk, with HFR Pod 20 for that 20% discount. And speak to you soon. Thanks and goodbye.